In the next 30 minutes, I'm going to share with you a method I use to run my businesses with AI. It's called a knowledge base. We're going to use AI to build it. This will save you thousands of dollars and months, if not years of trial and error, and will help you upgrade and maintain your business and brand as you grow. We will be putting 2 AI agents to the test to build this knowledge base, Agent Zero and Claude Code. And by the end of it, you will see which one is optimal for this use case. So we're going to build a knowledge base. The knowledge base we're going to build exactly is an AI video generation knowledge base that has knowledge of the major AI video generation models out there. Now, this knowledge base is going to be created by scraping the web using MCP servers, and then we're going to ask our agents to use the knowledge base to create treatments for YouTube videos. In your knowledge base you create, you could use it for content, you can use it for your business, you can use it for any project. A fantasy world role-playing game. It can be anything. It is a single source of truth for your AI agent to reference and understand your project deeply. So I'm going to show you both approaches with both agents. We're going to use the same MCP servers in each. And by the end, you'll have an idea of how they both work. Now, why do you need a knowledge base? A knowledge base will help you create an identity for your brand, for your business. It'll help you really refine who you're talking to, who you're selling to. It'll help you with your messaging, your colors. It could also become a place for you to brainstorm with your AI, to create templates for various purposes, and even just to generate fun visuals for your business or brand that help you get a better feel for what you're building, help you visualize and conceptualize ideas, but just overall have a single source of truth that you can use for your business or projects or whatever it is. So let's get started. So in this video, I want to show you how to simply make a knowledge base. I'm using Agent Zero here. You can use Claude Code. You can even use Claude Desktop. You could probably even use ChatGPT. But make sure you have MCP servers connected. What's treated me really well is the Actors MCP server by Apify. The Actors MCP server by Apify. This will allow you to scrape the internet everywhere. Social networks, websites, Amazon, anything. So pretty much no matter what your business is, you can scrape the web using Apify. Context 7 will help you with the tools you want to use for your business, assuming your business is online and you've got some kind of software involved, but not always. Firecrawl will search and scrape the web. Mailgun will send you emails so you can get notifications. You can get stuff emailed to you so you just have it in your email because that's really comfortable for most of us. Playwright will help with your web scraping as well in certain cases, and sequential thinking will help your agent create actionable plans. So once you have your MCP servers hooked up, that's all you really need to start building a knowledge base. In this video, I'm really just going to be building a knowledge base about AI video generation services because I'm going to be making a bunch of content about it for a different project. So what I'm telling Agent Zero is start a new knowledge base called AI video generation. Now, if you're using an IDE, you would do the same thing. Just start a new folder and have Claude Code or your cursor agent, whatever it is, tell it to make a new folder called knowledge base. That's it. And then same thing, use your MCP tools available to you to start populating this new knowledge base with markdown files of Context 7 libraries of OpenAI Sora 2 Pro, Google Veo, Kling Turbo Pro, etc. Also search the web for articles and blog posts comparing these models and discussing their pros, cons, specialties, etc. I want at least 20 posts found and analyzed. Create unique markdown files for each video generation model. Finally, adjust your behavior so that anytime I mention AI video generation, we reference this knowledge base. So there's a lot that's going to happen here, and because I've got sequential thinking turned on, it's going to do an okay job. I use Agent Zero because of this final bit. Adjust your behavior so that anytime I mention video generation, we reference this knowledge base. That is huge. Now, you could be using Claude Desktop and you can kind of have the same thing, but it's a little less flexible, I found. When I'm in a conversation on Claude Desktop and it's got my knowledge base for the project, it kind of gets stuck in there and everything I do just kind of follows that system prompt. I don't like the results. Meanwhile, if you're using Claude Code, this Claude MD file doesn't always actually get used by the Claude Code agent. And that's really frustrating sometimes. And it's kind of pushed me away from Claude Code for my purposes. Now, when I'm coding something, I'll still use Claude Code. But for actual business development and operations, I'm really starting to like Agent Zero, as I think you'll see why in this video. So let's go back up. There's my prompt. It's executing this code to make this folder. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the command line, there's a free command line bootcamp link below just to get comfortable with simple commands like this: make directory, Agent Zero, knowledge, AI video generation. So here in Agent Zero, we can see the files. And here in the knowledge, here in the Agent Zero folder, we have knowledge. There it is, AI video generation. Nothing in there yet. We'll check back in after it generates some files. Created the directory. Done. Check mark. Next, finding the Context 7 library for OpenAI Sora 2 Pro. So now it's using the Context 7 MCP to get up-to-date documentations for our LLMs and AI code editors. Very important. Now, it didn't find OpenAI Sora 2 Pro, so it's searching the web instead to find the blog posts, and I'll have to remind it later or modify the behavior to say, keep trying if it doesn't work, because a lot of these AI agents are so ambitious to keep working, they don't want to stop and tell you something didn't work. So, MCP failure with Firecrawl search. Okay, so it needed to fix the format, and it did. And now it's using the Firecrawl search tool. Okay, finally found some relevant results for OpenAI Sora 2 Pro, basically from OpenAI's official website. Now it's scraping that information from the OpenAI website. Next, it's looking for these other models, starting with Google Veo. And it's telling me the whole thought process, and it's really like getting deep into it. Claude Code doesn't really get that deep into its thought process. Maybe there's an option to turn that on. I haven't seen it. And even so, in this environment, it's not so clean to look at it all. So this is a cool plus of Agent Zero. And I can always turn these down too. Look, I can just minimize these. And if I want to see what's going on, I can expand it. So I think that's important too. One thing it's not doing correctly, because I didn't specify it, and once again, after this, I'm going to modify the behavior to say, after each bit of research, save the document. Because the last thing we want to do is run out of context length and lose all this stuff without having made a record of it. We got lucky, we didn't run out of context, now it's creating the markdown files. And finally it knows it's going to adjust its behavior to reference its knowledge base when video generation is mentioned. It's now writing a Python script that will then create each of these individual documents with the content that it has created from the data it scraped. Cool. So that's done. And the agent tells me what it did. It created a knowledge base, and it populated it with detailed markdown files, and it adjusted its behavior to reference its knowledge base. So I can go to the files now. And here in AI video generation, we see we do have these files. Now, at the moment of me recording this, I actually have to download these files. There is no file browser or text viewer in Agent Zero, which is kind of a bummer. But as you can see here, we've got just some standard overviews here, and that's a good start. What I really need, though, is more opinions. So before I move on, I'm going to make a new chat. I'm going to adjust my behavior again. Adjust your behavior whenever you are web scraping. Save your scraping progress to the specified file after each scraping result. Never wait until the end for the risk of losing your progress to a maxed out context limit. If a file was never specified, save into a temporary file and ask the user where to save the final results. Now I'll show you the behavior MD file in just a moment. Okay, behavior modified. Now we can see here it's got a tool. The agent has a tool called behavior adjustment. Pretty neat. And it actually has all my behavioral rules in there. So it added, when web scraping, save progress to file after each result to prevent data loss from context limits. If no file specified, use temporary file and later ask where to save final results. So if I go into the files, AO memory default behavior.md. I'll download this. Now I'll save this. And here we go. When web scraping, save progress to file after each scraping result. Easy. And if you want to make a change like I just did off the screen, I can just upload the file again. Done. Now we have our updated behavior file. Boom. So now I'll go back to our video generation knowledge base. And I'm going to start a new conversation just to save on context again. And I'm just going to take the parts of this original prompt that didn't work. And basically we missed a few things. We just have some basic data here. So I'm going to say update the video generation knowledge base with 10 articles per model. Scrape the web to find these blog posts or articles and save each article as its own file. Give each model its own directory in the knowledge base. So now we're just telling it to scrape the web. Skipped it earlier. Pretty standard and par for the course when you give an agent too many things to do. But I still think it did pretty good because earlier I gave it unrelated tasks really, because adjusting your behavior isn't really anything to do with actually populating it. So I don't fault Agent Zero. So I am going to do the same process now with Claude Code, and I want to show you how I do it this way. So I've got a brand new blank folder open. I open up the terminal. I type in Claude. Here's our first little bit of annoyingness. Do we trust the files in this folder? And now we say yes or no. And that's pretty much the whole experience on Claude Code. For good reason, you do want to know what you're giving this AI owned by a big corporation that shouldn't be trusted. Full access to your computer. It's kind of weird what we're doing, you know? So it is good that those permissions are being asked. So anyway, now I have too many agents in here, but whatever. I'm going to type in MCP. And we see here that I've got my actors who Blender MCP to make 3D renders in Blender, Cloudflow, Context 7, Crawl for AI, another scraper, 11 Labs, Fetch, Grain for my calls. This is also great for making a knowledge base. I should add that to Agent Zero. And an MCP, which I'm having trouble connecting to right now. Notion, Playwright, Pub. So you see I have a few more. Sequential thinking is there, Supabase, a YouTube transcript. There's a lot there, but everything I need is here. So I'm going to shift into plan mode here. I'm also going to / model and go get into Opus, baby. Like, Opus is not to be fucked with, okay? Opus is a powerful model, 4.1. So I'm just going to say the same thing I said to Agent Zero, hey? Let's go to this first conversation. Boom. Now, I'm going to paste that same thing, and let's see what it says about the adjusting behavior. But we're going to create a new knowledge base. We are going to create a new knowledge base called AI Video Generation. Use your MCP tools to start populating this new knowledge base with markdown files of Context 7 libraries of these. Also search of these models. Also search the web for articles. I want 20 posts found and analyzed. At least, let's say, 4 per model. Use the best sub-agents for this task. I don't think I should have to say that. Agent Zero is supposed to also create sub-agents for this kind of thing. Default agent profile, Agent Zero, researcher, developer. Maybe I should just give it default. And I made this one, content creator and content strategy. But anyway, in my experience, Agent Zero does a better job of calling those sub-agents without having to remind it. But with Claude Code, you have to remind it. So that is a little frustrating. Use the sub-agents for this task and all tasks. And we'll say execute in tandem whenever possible. So the sub-agents go at the same time, which is always super dope. Create unique markdown files for each video generation model. And its own directory. Finally, adjust your behavior. So let's see what it does. I don't know what it's going to say about that. Now, what I like about plan mode is I don't have to say, okay, ask me your questions. What do you think? I mean, I should have said that, but this is all pretty clear. And it'll, in fact, probably do a better job than I would have even thought of if I really went into that prompt systematically and was like very detail oriented about what I wanted. It's going to do a better job. It's going to use these agents. It's going to use the MCP tools, and then all the files are going to be over here. So this is also a powerful way to build a knowledge base with Claude Code. And I just feel like there's pros and cons, because opening up this folder once it's done is sometimes a little tedious, I suppose, and starting a new project, and it just gets messy. On the flip side, with Agent Zero, once there's a knowledge base, I can just start working with it. And this is still going. I'm going to stop this. This is probably just wasting a bunch of Venice AI credits. Like, what is all this? So, whatever it's got, great. Now, what I would do in Agent Zero. So I'm going to let Claude Code go, and you're going to see it's asking permission now to use Firecrawl. And this is just what Claude Code does. It just asks you all day if it has permission. And once again, I am not bashing that. It is not a bad thing. It is just a little bit tedious, again. So, here in Agent Zero, now that we have an AI generation knowledge base, I could say something along the lines of, next steps, I want to create 4 treatments for YouTube video generation on these topics. Video prompt engineering, how to do it the best way, model comparison, how to generate and edit a full video without API, let's skip that one. How to budget smartly, balancing workflow, budget, and quality of results. Okay, so I want to create 3 treatments. Make a plan. Okay, one other thing I left. Look what I can do there. I can open that up. I want to create 3 treatments for YouTube videos by AI generation on these topics. Now, it already knows about the knowledge base, right? It already knows, because that's in the behavior. Make a plan for researching what we don't know already, scraping the pricing models, and acquiring any data we are missing in our knowledge base to effectively create quality treatments. Use the right sub-agents. I shouldn't have to say that though, so let's make sure I don't. Ask me any questions you may have to clarify, and then I will approve your plan. Now, at the same time, if I did the same thing in Claude Code, approaching usage limit already, oh my gosh. I suppose I should have just done it in Sonnet. That's why they call us vibe coding cowboys. But let's see. Let's just see what happens here. Now, you don't have to say this to Claude when you're in plan mode. It strictly stays in plan mode, which is good. All right, here we go. Target audience, beginners. Okay, so these are really good questions Agent Zero is asking. Who's the target audience? And I'm wondering, did it use beginners? What level of technical depth? Conceptual, mostly focused on prompting the best ways. Prompting for best results. 3, are there specific AI video generation platforms? Yes, the platforms in our knowledge base. That was a little weird. It should know that. Do you have any existing branding guidelines? No, not yet. Just be generic for now. Anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes, depending on the complexity. Ideally, each video is actually a tutorial. Definitely lots of side-by-side comparisons and demonstrations. Okay, so we shoot that off. Back to Claude Code. Oh, sometimes Claude is super slow, but it's doing a lot of research here, apparently. So hopefully it's doing well, and it hasn't asked me too many times for my input, so that's cool. And now we wait. All right, my computer's all slowing down because I'm editing videos, recording videos, running a local agent, and running Claude Code back here. Still making that plan. We still have not hit the Opus usage limit. And here we go. What Agent Zero has done here is created the research plan for each video. So video 1, video prompt engineering, how to do it the best way. Create a beginner-friendly tutorial is our objective. Here are the research tasks. Verify and update our knowledge base. Research beginner-friendly prompt structures and syntax for each platform. Common mistakes beginners make. Great. Gather practical examples. Identify best practices. Okay, so that's its plan for researching. Great. Gather information on that stuff. Create a comparison framework. Yeah, sure, fine. Methodology for researching, great. Firecrawl, it's using Firecrawl for everything. Video structure, each 550 video follows a structure. Yes, execute. Now, meanwhile, Claude Code with the plan. Right as I probably ran out of of usage. AI video generation knowledge base creation plan. I've successfully gathered information from 25 sources. So it did all the research before it made a plan, okay? It's important. It has all this in its context right now, which again, I don't like. It should be in files. It should be in files already. So the planner mode doesn't seem to do that by default. I don't like that. I also didn't say anything, so I can't blame it. But Agent Zero, I can say, like I did, modify my behavior file, make sure it happens. Each model markdown file will include the overview and key features of each model, technical specifications, pricing structure, great. All right, so this is going to be much deeper research than I got in the first round of Agent Zero. So that's that. Claude Code wins that round. I'll configure my responses so whenever you mention video generation, I'll reference this knowledge first, provide relevant. So I don't think it's actually going to change its actual behavior, but let's see. Maybe it'll make a Claude MD file for itself, like a universal one. Boom. Oh, you know what? Let's stop that. And now let's use Sonnet. And we'll continue. Okay, so here we go. And it's already got all this data pretty much. It's just got to swap it into the files from its memory. And then meanwhile, the research is getting started over here by Agent Zero. And I'm going to go back to editing this video while these agents work. All right, losing a bit of vibe on this project here, but finally they're done. So Claude Code took quite a bit quicker. It was pretty fast, and it made our little knowledge base here, and we've got our MD files. So there's Google Veo 3. It's a lot more comprehensive than the first version we got from Agent Zero. We got API code examples. This is pretty much what I was trying to get the whole time. So now we also have a comprehensive comparison here of costs, which we will play with in just a little bit. We've even got a README of this whole thing. And one thing I love Claude Code for, I could say, make an HTML site to present all this data cleanly for me. And after that, we'll say, okay, let's make some scripts. But first, let's take a look at this data, right? That feels good. I think it also kind of closes a feedback loop in your brain. So here we are. Meanwhile, Agent Zero, we've got research findings for these YouTube treatments. We've got prices here. We've got model comparison. Google Veo 3 is the high fidelity storyteller. I'm not even sure why Sora is not here. We've put that in the knowledge base. So that's kind of a bummer that we're not seeing that. And Synthesia and Higgsfield weren't even in our knowledge base. So I theoretically should say something here. What did Claude Code do? We did get Sora, and we got Kling, and we got Veo. Yeah, I got what I wanted. So that's another interesting comparison here. Accuracy in the tasks at hand. How to budget smartly. And then video. Okay, so then video treatment recommendations. Recommendations, great. Now I'll say, okay, write an outline treatment with notes for the creator, important lines to say, and notes for the editor with ideas for B-roll visuals, include a compelling hook, and use the content creator sub-agent to write. Save each treatment in a new file, and also email each treatment individually to Jordan at aicaptains.ai. All right, we'll send that there. Meanwhile, Claude Code's building this. Claude Code is coding for us, meanwhile. Okay, so Agent Zero has finished with the treatments. We got 4 treatments here. We'll examine them in just a minute. But first, let's check out the whole HTML website that Claude Code made. All right, so this is a pretty standard design I'm starting to see whenever I do these research reports. Sora 2 Pro, best for physics and duration. Veo 3, cinematic quality. $5 per 10 seconds, $4 per 10 seconds. Different resolution options. Audio, yes or no. API, if it's available or when it's coming. And we already are in Q3 right now, so it picked up some old data here. Kling 2.5 Turbo, quite a bit cheaper. 1080p, no sound. Now we have some model exploration here, some features, if you will, performance rankings. So this is pretty awesome, right? Trends. So they could use some formatting here. Got the pricing. Okay, so this is great. This is really what I need. So I'll go back to this conversation and copy this same prompt, and we'll come back here. We'll start a new conversation, and we'll shift into plan mode. I want to create 3 treatments for YouTube videos about AI video generation on these topics. Make a plan, scrape what we need, and acquire any data we're missing. Ask me if any questions to clarify. Now, we already have a lot of this stuff. Agent Zero did not do as comprehensive of a researching and knowledge base creation job as Claude Code did. So in the Mastering AI Video Generation Prompt Engineering video, we have a title, we have a length, core message. It follows a proof, promise, plan, pain structure from Alex Hormozy, like my content creator sub-agent is trained. Script, proof, promise. Cool. So that looks good. So now, meanwhile, what is this? All right, this is new to Claude Code. Wow, this is cool. This is new to Claude Code, and this is really cool. I'm in plan mode, and it's got a bunch of questions. So it's quizzing me here. Which should we focus on? All major platforms. Yeah. Examine the models focused on in this project. Focus on those. Okay. And then what's your target audience's technical level? Let's say content creators. Do you already have a knowledge base? Yes, in this project. What format should the final treatments take? Script outlines, detailed scene-by-scene breakdowns, treatment documents, narrative descriptions with key points. Let's just go for it. Script outlines. And now we'll submit that. Okay, so that's really cool. That's new to plan mode. I haven't seen that on Claude Code yet, so that's pretty dope. And just to be clear, I'm running Venice open source models in Agent Zero. Qwen 3235B is what this is using. So there's obviously always going to be a big difference in the corporate proprietary models versus the open source models. So if I were to plug in my Anthropic API key, who knows if we would have had results equal to, better, or worse than Claude Code. Now, Claude Code has come up with its plan after that awesome quiz thing. Prompt engineering depth. So it's identified we've got some knowledge gaps in our knowledge base here and how to update it. 3-phase approach to researching, verify, update pricing data. It tells me which tools it's going to use. Phase 2, prompt engineering research. Build a comprehensive prompt engineering framework. Great. Perfect, right? Like, I didn't even think about that. Yes, let's build a prompt engineering framework and do it based on all the research you can get around the internet, right? With web search, documentation, scraping, community forums. Wonderful. Budget, workflow, quality framework. Okay, so there's a lot of work it's got to do here. Deliverables per video treatment. So now the last thing I'm going to say is make sure to use the best sub-agents and MCP tools available to you for this research, such as Context 7 and Apify Actors MCP. It'll probably spend some money here using Apify Actors MCP, but that's okay. That's why I'm using it. But this is going to create a pretty comprehensive situation here. The last thing I'll say is make sure to save all scraped data into a resource file so you don't lose it in a new conversation context. Okay, so now we have a very, very, very thorough plan here, which is amazing. And I made a video recently about spec-driven development, and this seems like we're getting there. We're getting close here. This is powerful. We're going to use MCP tools and parallel execution using specialized sub-agents. Cross-verification of all findings. It's going to launch a bunch of agents in parallel for different things. Great. Wow, this is amazing. I haven't used Claude Code in a couple of weeks. This is really impressive. Upon approval, I will launch task agents in parallel waves. I will use Context 7 for official documentation. Let's execute. So it's the next day here, and Claude Code just knocked it out of the park. It just knocked things out of the park. And let me show you. So we got all the research, and it made HTML files. So we got all the pricing, we got all the details, we got all the performance ranking. I really like this whole bit about physics simulation, what's the best, audio generation, cost effectiveness. So Claude Code put all that together based on the research it did. Now, what research did it do? It didn't save the research like I asked. Instead, it kept everything in its own context, in its own memory. Everything is scraped, and then it produced all the documents. So I don't like that. And I tried to specify that somewhere, like don't do that, but whatever. And then I said make HTML files. So then from there, I gave it the same prompts from Agent Zero, and I got my 3 treatments plus a production cost analysis file. Now let's start with the treatments, because this is really cool. So this is the first one we got, production budget, API credits required. So we got a little production budget there. We'll talk more about that in a bit. Then we got a hook, split screen comparison. We got a little script. Why does the same prompt give you a cinematic masterpiece on one platform and a blurry mess on another? So, good starting point. And then we talk about how to prompt the right way to make good videos. 6-layer framework here. It created that framework, by the way. I didn't do shit. And then we got a little prompt template, shot type of subject, action, and at setting, camera movement, blah, blah, blah. Platform-specific optimization. So anyway, it took all the research and it made this treatment for a YouTube video, and it told me how much it's going to cost me in credits, API credits, to actually create these videos. And then I go to number 2, and like, these are really good. They're good starting points. Obviously, they're not going to be the final thing I use for the videos, but it got the research I needed into the same place. So now we can compare the strengths and weaknesses of these models, put them into head-to-head comparisons, etc., and make the content. So Claude Code did a really good job here. So then we got this budget, and it basically told me I'm going to need $137.50 to do all these videos. Now, it comes up with these like smart ideas too of how to save money while producing these videos. So this looks really good. This is what I really love Claude Code for. Now, to take it to one final level, we can see we got MD files. To take it to one more level, we can see that here in this prompt engineering folder, it also made a whole collection of prompts, and like, it made a huge prompting guide. So I want to ask Claude Code to turn that into a website as well. Now, ideally, what I would really do if I weren't ready to wrap this video up is I would take this folder. I'm going to do this actually eventually, just not on camera. I would take this folder, put it into my AI Captain's knowledge base IDE site, and then have Claude Code create this website with the right style guide. I do have a brand style guide for AI Captains, and it has all the markdown files for following the brand. And so this is probably the last thing I would want to say when you make your knowledge base is make sure you do create a style guide. I didn't do that in this video. You can easily do it. You could do this on any of the AIs, on ChatGPT, whatever. But this is important because not just for the colors and fonts, but also for messaging, the voice and tone. So now here we go. I didn't even go into plan mode, and it still gives me this new form, which is awesome. I really like this. Do you want to build on the existing website or completely new website structure? A new website, tech stack. All right, so we'll let that go, and then we'll close off this video. Okay, so we'll let that go, and then we'll close out this video with my conclusions on Agent Zero versus Claude Code. Okay, so that actually took quite a while. It took like 45 minutes just to make some HTML files. But who am I to complain, right? So let's check all of this out. It made 9 HTML pages from these prompt engineering documents. We're going to learn all about the framework Claude Code just created for me based on this research I had it do in the knowledge base it created. And you can do this for anything. Master AI Video Prompt Engineering, Comprehensive Guides. Okay, so let's see here. Let's check out OpenAI Sora 2 Pro. Okay, so it's got, let me zoom in for you. Documentation link. Sora 2 is designed to be prompted like briefing a cinematographer. Shorter clips, better quality. Core prompt formula. Can copy the prompt. I love that. Essential elements. And it's like a total documentation site here. No limitations, text rendering, physics, simulation is moderate. So we see the limits here, so we can learn about the models. Cool. So let's see, compare models. I can compare all the models right here. Fun. Uh-oh, only 4 models can be compared at a time. Cool. And then it turns it into like a service website. Let us help you find your best model. Which is a little overkill because this is definitely one of those things you just need to try and figure it out as you go. Here's the framework. Got some HTML issues on this page. We can even say that. Great, so now this is fixed, and I made a whole framework here. Now, this isn't a business. This is a website trying to provide value. This could be a website. In fact, maybe I will make this a website. But for the purposes of this video, I think this is a valuable demonstration of building a knowledge base with Claude Code that you can see, you can visualize, and you can use for your business. Now, what parts of your business you can use it for, who knows? Maybe you'll make something like my brand style guide where you put everything about the business in there. Maybe you use it to make a website. Maybe you use it to put in your audience and pain points. I mean, this is so thorough here. And the best part about this is that it all comes from scraped data. It's not hallucinated. The models don't know enough to talk about all of this. So most of this perspective comes from real people making content about it on the web. So here's the bottom line. I use Claude Code to actually build things. It will do more robust and comprehensive research. That's just how it is. Meanwhile, Agent Zero is a great personal assistant. You can automate recurring tasks. You can get stuff done with Agent Zero. And the best part is now that I know the Claude Code knowledge base was better and it does scripting, it does code production better, I can still go here in the files, find the knowledge base folder, and actually bring in everything from Claude Code into here and create a new recurring task. Write a treatment for a YouTube video about AI video generation every day at 9 a.m. and email it to me. And now Agent Zero, which runs its own environment in a Docker container on your computer, will create a recurring task that's going to show up here in just a second, and it's going to schedule it. So then it's going to access the knowledge base we created. It's going to write a video treatment about what's in the knowledge base, and then email me a draft so I can get my content gears moving in my brain. So this is my favorite part of Agent Zero here. Create a 12-minute YouTube video treatment about AI video generation following the AI Captains format. So it's referencing my AI Captains knowledge base for the format. Compelling hook, proof promise plan, pain framework, creator and editor notes. Then it's referencing knowledge from our AI video generation knowledge base that we created to make sure it's using the right knowledge for these emails. Include model comparisons, prompt engineering tips, and budget strategies. And then it also knows it needs to send it to my email. These are all because of its behavior rules, which I showed you earlier. It knows whenever I say email me, it knows which email to send it to, and it knows which MCP to use to do that, which in this case is Mailgun. It looks like I need to fix these other ones. So Agent Zero is a great personal assistant in that way. It can do things automatically, let you know, and then you can chime in as the human in the loop. You can run tasks like this. You can give it all sorts of tools. For example, with Google Calendar, I can say, hey, add this to my calendar. Send an invite to that person. 11 Labs. I don't know why this isn't connecting. 11 Labs. We have an error right now, but basically with all my 11 Labs agents, I can look through the results. Hey, what are people talking about today with this particular agent on 11 Labs? Pretty nifty. And then, of course, as we already saw, we can scrape, we can research, etc. So I hope this was inspiring. I recommend you whip out one of your favorite agents and try building a knowledge base, just a simple one. Just create an environment where all your files can be. If you want a more structured approach to this, check out the AI Captain School, where we have a strong community of people building businesses with AI, solopreneurs. And if you're one of those people, we hope to see you there. Come say hi. So thanks for watching. If you want to keep learning about AI, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you in the next video.